This is Samsung's last year's flagship S25 Ultra, while this is Samsung's last year's mid-ranger A17. And who should get the S25 Ultra and who should save their money with the A17? This is the comparison between a mid-range and a flagship to see which one is best fitted for who. Now, starting with their release time, they were both released in 2025. The S25 came a little early in January, while the A17 came late in August. And going to their build quality, the S25 has a titanium frame, grade 5, and it is all glass. The back is a Gorilla Glass Victus. The front is a Gorilla Glass Armor, while the A17 is a plastic frame. This is a plastic frame. And the back is a plastic too. Samsung calls it glass fiber reinforced plastic. I mean, it's still plastic, but well, glass fiber reinforced. So given that this is a plastic frame, while this is a titanium frame, if you were to drop these two phones, the A17 is going to have a much bigger dent because it's plastic, while the titanium is known for being strong, so it's definitely more durable than the A17 that we have here. The S25 Ultra is a little bit thicker. This is packing about 8.2 millimeters of thickness, while the S17 is a little slimmer. It's about 7.5. So if you hold them in the hand, I mean, given this one's metallic frame, it's going to definitely feel heavier in the hand and a little bit chunkier. But again, it has that premium feel of, a high-end flagship. While this one feels a bit premium too, although it's a little lighter. And then the feel, it's great. I mean, you look at the rounded corners versus this little bit sharper than the corners of the A17. The S25 Ultra supports dual SIM. You can go for eSIM and nano SIM or 2 nano SIMs, but you can have 2 at a time. While the A17 also packs a nano SIM and an eSIM, and there's also an option for a dual. They both pack an AMOLED screen, Super AMOLED display. This one is 6.9, while this one is 6.7. Despite this A17 actually looking much bigger and wider than the S25 Ultra. It's because the bezels on this one are quite chunky and big. If you can look at that, while the bezels on this one are quite slim. I mean, yes, that feels premium and flagship kind, if you can see that. So if you go out in the sun, this one will actually be more brighter than the A17 because the brightness level is quite high on the S25 Ultra, despite the fact that they are both Super AMOLED. But anyway, for normal users, it's a difference that may hardly be noticed in normal day settings, like within the house or within, normal offices. You are likely not to notice much of a difference in terms of their brightness. The A17 packs a 1080p resolution display, which means at a 6.7 and 1080p, the PPI is not that much, about 395, but that actually is not bad. It's barely noticeable because the display will still be crispy. This is a high-end display with a 1440 by 3120 pixels, which means the PPI here is much higher than the PPI we have in the Samsung here. But again, these differences are hardly noticeable for normal people. So they were both released in 2015, which means they have Android 15 out of the box. But the A17, Samsung has promised 6 years of major OS upgrades, while the S25 Ultra, Samsung is giving it a 7 years OS upgrade. So this one is likely to go all the way up to about Android 21, and seeing that it was released in Android 15, while this will probably go a little higher, Android 22. Currently, the Samsung has already been upgraded to One UI 8.5, while the A17 is still at Android 16 One UI 8.0. So in terms of software, these two devices are heavily packed. I mean, you're going to use them for as long as you can before you think about getting, another phone because of software obsolescence. The S25 is using a high-end Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset, while the S17 is using Samsung's in-house Exynos 1330 chipset. So this one, actually, a user may really want to take note of this, because if you're someone who uses programs or uses the kind of activities on a phone that require high processing power, that require faster processing, then you really need a chipset that is as high end. Whereas if you're a normal user who just goes to social media, normal usage of a phone without much extremity of activities, then the A17 will not disappoint you. I mean, it will do all the things that you want it to do, assuming that you won't want it to do the things that S25 Ultra is supposed to do. So this really will suffice for many people. This one comes with a base 4GB RAM and 128GB. While the RAM can go up to 8, there's a variant for 8GB, and the internal storage can go up to 256. But when you come to the S25 Ultra, the base RAM is 12GB of RAM. You can see how much one is just 3 times the other. So 12GB of RAM, it can go up to 16. Internal storage will start at 256, and it can go all the way up to 1 terabyte. You can have a 16 gigabytes, 1 terabyte of storage in this device. So that just tells you that Samsung do not make this for everyone. It makes this for people who want to do the kind of things that will require that much RAM, which, by the way, I wonder who does what in a phone that requires 16 gigabytes of RAM. But anyway, they build it for people who know what it is that they want to do with it. Whereas this one is built for normal users. I mean, a 4GB RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage, it's for normal person's daily usage. You want to do social media, you want to take some small videos here and there and pictures of your events. And if you get the 8GB 256 variant, then you are actually great in terms of internal storage. Now, when we come to camera, this one packs a quad camera system. This is a triple camera system. Now, this is a 50 megapixel sensor, while this is a 5 megapixel ultra wide, and this is a 2 megapixel macro, and that's the end of your camera system as pertaining to A17. Now, let me say that it's not bad. I mean, people have their own standards of good, and so whatever picture or quality of photo that you're going to take here, for many people, they're going to find it just fine, because probably they won't be comparing it to a photograph from S25 Ultra. I mean, if you do the comparison, you are not going to like the photos from this phone. But as long as the S25 Ultra is out of your view, believe me, you are going to enjoy the photography of this phone and the videography, because good is a comparative word. I mean, it's only good if you compare it to a device that is, less good or worse. But again, if you compare it to one that is much better, then good becomes bad. But if you come to the S25 Ultra, this is a 200 megapixel sensor with OIS, and the ultra wide is a 50 megapixel ultra wide. It has a 10 megapixel telephoto with 3 times optical zoom, and then it has a periscope telephoto 50 megapixel with a 5 times optical zoom. It has laser autofocus, which means it can laser lock on a subject, and that makes it quite quicker in terms of its autofocus. The S25 Ultra can shoot videos up to 8K 24 fps or 30 fps, and it can do a super slow-mo video up to 240 fps at 1080p. It can do 4K up to 120 fps. That's actually great. And this one, on the other hand, it can shoot up to 1080p, 30 fps. So this is affordable, yeah, but again, that affordability comes with a compromise in the terms of quality of services that you're going to get. This is a 13 megapixel sensor, while this is a 12 megapixel sensor. But again, that numbering in terms of megapixel may not tell much of which is better. The high megapixel usually do not tell if a camera is better or not, because the software that processes that photography before you get to see it on the screen factors a lot in the quality of the photograph or the video. So the S25 Ultra with the Ultra software, the selfie here is going to be better than that you will get in the A17. In general, in terms of camera comparison, you see how these are just way two different worlds. I mean, I've used the S25 Ultra to shoot some videos, some good professional videos, while I would not really do that with the A17. Not that it would shoot bad videos. Like I said, good is a comparative word. So as long as A17 is all you have and is all you've ever had, then you won't note much of a difference. But if you have A17 and then a friend of yours has S25 Ultra, then you will not be very much pleased with your photos and your videos from this side. So, I mean, in terms of camera comparisons, these two, they don't compare fairly. In terms of their audio, the S25 Ultra comes in stereo audio, where the earpiece actually is serving as a secondary or speaker, while the A17 uses a single speaker at the bottom. Samsung did not put in either of them the 3mm jack for the headphones, so you probably will need to use a Type-C adapter or a Type-C earphone or a wireless. You can use a wireless earbuds for either of these if you want to use the private audios. The A17 has a fingerprint on the side, so the power button actually is a fingerprint, while the S25 Ultra is using under display ultrasonic fingerprint, which works quite fast. So in terms of biometrics, you will probably use fingerprint on both, although this one will be more premium because you unlock it from the screen. Ultrasonic is quite fast, while this one is a physical button, a physical fingerprint key on the side. In terms of battery, they both pack 5000 mAh battery that should last a full day. Both of them actually, even though the software optimization for battery management may be different on these two devices, but since this one do not use a high power consuming chipset, the battery lasts here quite generously. So this is a 45-watt charging, super fast charging. This is a 25-watt fast charging. So this one paired with its right adapter will charge much faster than this one. But again, if you use the right adapters in comparison to the two brands and the two models, they charge fairly well. I mean, this will charge a lot faster than this one, but still, for a user who is using this, I mean, it really charges fast. I mean, fast is another comparative word depending on which you're comparing it with. Now, Samsung also supports wireless charging. This one does not. And it supports a 15-watt wireless charging and a 4.5-watt reverse wireless charging. So you can use this device, you can use your S25 Ultra to charge another wireless device by just flipping it, putting it on the side like that, and that would work great. You can charge your wireless watch if you have one. You can charge all your wireless devices. So it kind of works like a mini power bank, even though you know that is going to drain your battery out of this device. They both pack very good displays. I mean, this is not as high resolution as this one, but for normal users, it won't, disappoint you because it's AMOLED. The PPI, it's not that bad. 395 is actually great. So it will be good, and being AMOLED, meaning that there will be deep blacks, the contrast, the color, saturation will be great. So that really won't be much of a disappointment when you are viewing content from this device. This one, being a mid-range premium, comes in just 3 colors. You get a black and a gray and a blue, gradient type, and that's all about it. I mean, I for once feel easy with this one because the choice is not as hard. But now when you come to this one, this is where the choice of color becomes hectic and tedious, because this is not just black. This is probably titanium black or jet black. I mean, in addition to the coloring that Samsung has given here, they have been sure to add the word titanium before every color that they're gonna put here. So they're gonna have titanium silver blue, I think titanium silver, titanium pink gold. There are a lot of colors that are present in this device. There is also a titanium white. This being a premium device, being a flagship device, Samsung wants to make quite a good number of variety on who is going to buy it, because someone who is paying a couple of hundreds of dollars to buy this one, they definitely want to have some choices to make. They want to get a color that will be pleasing to them. Finally, from a repairs point of view, I mean, I'm a technician who does repairs for these devices. So from a repair's point of view, this device is great. I mean, you want to get it for the things that you want to do with it, but again, the repair is quite hefty here. I mean, if you break the screen will cost you a lot. If you break the back glass, it will cost you a lot. Everything about this is expensive, while this one, the screen is AMOLED, so that still will cost quite a little bit, but not as expensive as this one. I mean, this one will be a couple of hundreds of dollars to be able to repair that screen. And in terms of the repairs, I think this one is likely to feature in the repair shop much often than this one. Because why? This one actually packs an IP68 rating of water resistance. You can actually dip this in the water up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes, no problem here. While this one has an IP54 rating, which means you don't want to dip this one in the water. I mean, it can survive some splashes and some small rain, but you don't want to dip this one in the water, especially from a repair's point of view. This one is likely to come to the repair for water damage than this one because of that IP rating. You really want to keep both of these devices safe, because if you break this screen, it's going to cost you. If you break this screen, it's going to cost you way more. If you break the back glass, it's going to cost you another hefty amount. Well, this is not much of a glass, so you probably will not be breaking this one. The frame of this is a plastic, so it's likely to be dented often when you drop it down. So for someone who just wants normal day usage, people who just use their phones for simple social media, simple activities here and there, then this is great for you. You don't do high graphic processing, you don't do a lot of activities that require high power. This device is great. It's not as bad. I mean, I would not feel bad buying this device if I'm just a normal user. I just want to make some communication, use some social media. But again, if you are someone who is a creator who like shoots a lot of videos like myself, then this will help you a lot better, because the quality will not disappoint you. The video, the photography, and the battery and the resolution of the display will be great. So get whichever you want to get, but make sure that you are not spending too much money on buying this one and you're using it like a A17. I mean, that's a little bit unfair, but again, their goodness is based on who is using it. For a normal user, this is great. For an advanced user, if I may say so, this is great. So take whichever you want to take based on your need. Otherwise, we do repairs at BitechHub. We do a lot of tech activities there, and I'd like you to follow up much on that. So kindly subscribe, and we'll be talking much about Bitech and what it does, and stay informed. Thank you, and we'll meet again.